Look at Me, I'm Three is a rather adorable Barney episode. We have a lot of opportunities for learning here and some pretty great nostalgia for me too, which is why I watch Barney. This is the 10th episode of the second season of Barney and Friends, and this one is all about Baby Bop's birthday. Baby Bop has, of course, turned 3 years old, and there are some pretty great things in this. For example, Barney explains to Baby Bop, maybe needlessly in the situation, but he explains to Baby Bop what a birthday is, how it only happens once a year. You get to say you're 1 year older, and that means that Baby Bop is 3. And I think that explanation is really great for young children who are just starting to understand the concept of birthdays, and obviously there are a lot of things with numbers in this, and I'll give some more examples about that in a moment, but there will be spoilers as I discuss what happens in this, some songs that I loved. As I said, there's some beautiful nostalgia in this, but I think for the target audience it is pretty fantastic, and we have the introduction of a new character at the time, but I will talk about that character when I get there chronologically. So we start off with a song that actually screams childhood for me. And this is Little Speckled Frogs, because the children in this sing this song to cheer up Tina. The other children in this, of course, we have Tina. We also have Kathy and Julie and Derek. And Tina is still wearing her cast at this point, so they dress as frogs and sing Little Speckled Frogs, which just takes me back to my childhood so much. Brilliant way to start things off. And then we get the Barney Bag, and that's because they're making presents for Baby Bop's birthday. And I love that. I love that they're encouraging making presents rather than buying gifts, and any excuse to be creative and do arts and crafts. Pretty brilliant. I did wonder what they would create, and I have to say what they came up with was pretty good, because it allows them to then play with those things. For example, they made some mittens out of felt, and then they got to sing Three Little Kittens. Obviously we have the 3 there in keeping with Baby Bop's birthday, and I also just love that song. And they also made some fish on sticks, and they sang a song called 3 Little Fishes, and the fish looked brilliant. So I like that they're creating these gifts, but they then get to have fun with them afterwards, and I think that that's really brilliant. We then have the introduction of BJ. And BJ, of course, is Baby Bop's brother. Now, I'm not a huge fan of BJ as a character, but then I'm also not a huge fan of Baby Bop. But I like what he brings to the episode. I think it's nice to have another character brought in. It keeps things fresh and different. And also just the bright yellow colour of BJ really stands out. And it just visually looks really engaging and really definitely helps to keep things bright and colourful. And they then sing Number Limbo, of course, starting off with the number 3 for Baby Bop's birthday, and we're counting down there. And then they sing, quite interestingly, which I hadn't expected, but they sung Happy Birthday to You. Now, the reason I hadn't expected this is because this was still believed to be under copyright when this was released in the 90s. And I actually Googled it to try and find a bit more about this, because I remembered that recently it was no longer under copyright, but that's why you won't hear Happy Birthday being sung in films or TV shows before 2015, because it was still under copyright. I have no idea how much it would have cost to get permission to sing it, but it turns out that actually the copyright wasn't valid, and the person who made the copyright claim, according to Wikipedia, I haven't looked beyond that, but according to Wiki, they had to pay $14 million back in licensing fees, which is absolutely crazy. But it's really fascinating. The history of it all is definitely worth checking out. And according to Wiki, this is the most, according to the Guinness Book of World Records 1998, as stated by Wiki, it's the most recognised song in the English language. I don't know if that would still be the case, but I can certainly believe that being the case. It was originally written in 1893, so including it in Barney on the one hand wasn't a surprise. I think it's a very, very recognisable song, and most children are aware of this song, but I was also surprised because I don't know how much it would have cost them in licensing at the time, but nevertheless, very, very fascinating, and it taught me something about the history of the song, so that was fun as well. And we just have this really beautiful scene. It's kind of almost emotional, where we have Baby Bop, BJ, Barney, and the children all singing I Love You in a line. They're swaying. It's just so gorgeous, and a really beautiful way to end the episode. It's a brilliant episode. I can't fault it. Look at Me, I'm Three is very educational. It's very creative. We have some brilliant nostalgia for me personally, and I have to say, I rather enjoyed the experience. It's a pretty great episode, and a very happy birthday to Baby Bop.